Hey, how's it going, guys? NIMO sent out their new gaming laptop. Then last year I got to try out one of their laptops, which was pretty cool, and it was a little different because it was supposedly made in America. I'm not exactly sure if that's the case here, but either way, it looks like a similar body to what was there last year. Now, there are a couple of different ones you can pick from. This one right here is 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage. You can adjust the amount of storage you want if you want more or less, as well as the amount of RAM if you want less. You can get a cheaper one. But the 32 gigs, we'll see how good that is. This is running the Ryzen 8 or Ryzen 7 6800. So in the box, we have the laptop itself. So we got a 100-watt USB-C wall outlet. This is what they kind of brag about on their listing, as well as the user manual and a USB-C to USB-C cable. This looks pretty long compared to other ones that I've seen. And here is the laptop itself being set up right now. It has that kind of typical look from Chinese vendors that make these. This one looks a little bit better, mainly because it has that kind of blue, navy blue finish. I actually like this color quite a bit. All your ports here on one side. Here are all the ports on the other side, and look at that. We still have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Going back to the trackpad and keyboard real quick, on the side there is this fingerprint scanner, and it works relatively well. I put my finger on here, and most of the time it does a pretty good job. And this keyboard is relatively responsive on here, and I've been testing this out, and just for a little bit. And then on top here we got the webcam that does have a cover, which is pretty neat. The camera on here is not too bad, actually. It's it's just as how I expected it to be. Nothing too impressive, but enough for video calls, and that's pretty much it. Out of the box, there's 880 gigabytes of storage free out of 1 terabyte, or technically 930 with capacity. And it's running a AMD Ryzen 7 6800H with Radeon graphics, so I wonder if that's integrated or dedicated. And here's what we see on CPU-Z. It doesn't really specify the graphics card, which one it has, so I'm assuming it's an integrated card. I thought I read it was Intel 680 somewhere, but I could be wrong on that. Regardless, I'm still feeling pretty optimistic about the amount of RAM this has, along with that processor. This one has 32 gigabytes of RAM. I think 16 would be sufficient, too. It wouldn't be bottlenecking, but yeah, we'll have to see here. Now listen to this. Yep, so watching videos on here won't be a problem whatsoever. I'm watching at 1080p. It can go all the way up to 4K on YouTube. And the screen gets decently bright, not enough to use outside in sunlight. So it's pretty typical, I'd say. Pretty standard. And so far, everything I've been doing, all the basic tasks have been smooth, no issues whatsoever, and there shouldn't be. Going back to CPU-Z for a second, here's a screenshot of the benchmarks. So it looks like it's relatively decent. Unfortunately, I don't really have much to compare this to because I've recently started doing CPU-Z benchmarks. But for the Cinebench, it's been pretty good. The multi-core score is 9643 and single core is 1530. So this does beat the Intel Core i9 9880H CPU. I'm not sure about that i7 that it mentioned on the listing, because from what I could tell, Hardware Unboxed did a more in-depth comparison with the processors, and it seemed like that one did a lot better. This is obviously not a comparison video, but I thought it's worth mentioning that I don't know which benchmarks they used, or the company did, NIMO did. To me, it just seems like false advertising. But again, maybe there was a benchmark or two that it did beat the i7 12 series on, that specific one. Anyways, checking out Dark Souls 2 here. This is the Scholar of the First Sin. This one is getting about 30 FPS, give or take, a little above 30. So it's not completely smooth in frame rate. It's not getting 60, and I just died. That was at the highest graphic settings, by the way. Next game here is Naruto Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution. Without the super sampling and VSync, it ran really well. Pretty well, no issues, but it was stuck at 30 FPS, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, maxed out graphics, it's not doing so well. I'm barely getting 14, 15 FPS here, so yeah, not good. So only at the lower graphics settings this will work just fine. I'm just going to turn VSync off as well as the super sampling just to show you that it runs a lot more smoother when that's off. Just the load screen alone was at like 20 FPS for when we had everything on. So now at this point, it's getting 30 almost consistently. It does dip down. It did dip down to 29 for just a moment there. And the FPS rate is on the top right. Yep, a lot more smoother now. But it's stuck at 30 FPS. I'm not sure why it's not getting 60. I don't know if Naruto games are like that, especially in the past. I thought they would get 60, but no matter. It's all right here. I am noticing some screen tearing here just from this game alone. I don't know if you could see it on there. It's probably a little harder to tell. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. Finally, we're checking out Need for Speed Heat here at the lowest graphics settings. And this one, it seems like it's going to lag a little bit. I mean, menu's just fine for now. But this is a more graphic demanding game. So even at the lowest graphics settings, let's see how it goes. Yikes, we're barely getting 18 FPS on here. This is not really playable whatsoever. So games with high graphics, it's not going to work out too well. You can still, despite what you see here, you can still game on here at the lower graphics settings for a lot of games, especially older games. Anything from the last 10 years, I guess you could say you could game on, as long as it's not too graphic demanding. So overall, despite everything you see here, this runs pretty well. I know I haven't tested out Roblox like I always do, or some Microsoft Store games, or games from the Microsoft Store, but that's because it'll handle all those low-end games just fine. Roblox, Asphalt 9, you name it. So yeah, this is basically a typical laptop, but it's a step above that. So everything is average except for the performance. Performance is pretty good on here. You can game on here to low to medium graphic settings depending on how old the game is and how graphic demanding it is. The one thing I never really got a chance to test out thoroughly is the battery life. Right now we're at 77%. Before, when I tested it out, I was playing Naruto Shippuden. I think I had it loaded for like an hour, give or take, and I was at like 50%. So it's not. So when you're playing games, it's going to drain the battery pretty quickly. But yeah, throughout that, I mean, besides that, it does do a decent job. It'll automatically turn off at night if it's on to preserve that battery life at 100%. But yeah, haven't tested anything out too thoroughly, so I can't give you a definitive answer if it's going to last all day or not. You're probably going to have to keep your cable with you, but it's not too bad since it does work on that USB-C cable that you get with it. So overall, I like this. I really think the look is pretty nice, although how little that matters, the blue look. Yeah, I would definitely consider this for school. Now, the only thing that's kind of concerning is the price point, because right now, at the time of this video, there is that whole quote-unquote trade war that's going on, so I can't really speak on tariffs or anything like that as to where things are going to end up. But as of right now, this is going for $549. Hopefully it stays at that price. If it goes up, then yeah, that'll be pretty unfortunate. But at $549, it seems like it is just worth it with 32 gigs of RAM. And again, if you want to downgrade a little, you can go to the 16 gigs, but I think this is unavailable now. I could be wrong. But for what, 40 bucks, maybe it's worth paying that extra RAM for like some tools you can use. But you guys let me know. What do you think about this? Overall, I think it's a pretty solid laptop that NIMO came out with. Oh, and one last thing, you do get 2 years of warranty and a 90-day hassle-free return by NIMO if you buy it directly, I believe. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and stay tuned for more, as I'll be checking out more laptops in the near future. As always, guys, thanks for watching.